There once lived a woman who longed dearly for a child. She wished for one so deeply that her heart ached each time she saw mothers walking with their little ones. At last, in her sorrow, she went to a wise old woman and asked for help. "I should so very much like to have a tiny child," she said. "Can you tell me where I might find one?" "That is easily done," replied the old woman. She gave her a small barley corn, not like the kind that grows in farmers' fields, but a special enchanted seed. "Plant this in a flower pot, and you shall see what will come." The woman hurried home and planted the barley corn. No sooner had she watered it than a beautiful flower sprang up, tall and graceful, like a tulip. Its petals were tightly folded, as if it were still a bud. "What a lovely flower," said the woman, and she kissed the red and yellow petals. At that very moment the flower opened with a soft pop. It was indeed a tulip, but in the very center, upon the green velvet of the flower's heart, sat the tiniest girl anyone had ever seen. She was no bigger than a thumb, and so the woman named her Thumbelina. Was delicate and lovely. Her cradle was made from a polished walnut shell, her mattress of blue-violet petals, and her blanket a rose leaf. During the day she played upon the table, where the woman had placed a plate filled with water, surrounded by flowers. Thumbelina would row across the water in a tiny boat made from a tulip petal, using 2 white horsehairs for oars, singing in a voice as soft as a whispering breeze. One night, while she slept in her little walnut cradle by the open window, an ugly toad crept in. She was large and damp, with wide, staring eyes. When she saw the tiny maiden, she croaked with delight. "She will make a perfect wife for my son, Said the toad." Without hesitation, she seized the walnut shell and leaped out the window into the marsh below. There, among broad lily pads floating upon the water, lived her Sunatoad, just as ugly as his mother. "Croak, croak," he said when he saw "She is beautiful." "Do not speak so loudly," said the mother. "She may escape." They placed Thumbelina upon a large lily leaf in the middle of the pond, far from the shore. She awoke and found herself surrounded by water on every side. When she understood what had happened, she began to weep bitterly. The little fishes swimming below saw her tears. They felt sorry for the gentle child and resolved to help her. They gathered around the green stalk of the lily leaf and nibbled at it until it broke loose. The leaf floated freely upon the current, carrying Thumbelina away from the toads. As she drifted along the stream, birds sang in the trees, and the sun shone warmly upon her. Thumbelina sang again, hoping someone kind might hear her voice. Soon, however, a large cockchafer beetle spotted her and swooped down. He carried her up into a tree and placed her upon a leaf. Though he found her charming, the other beetles did not. "She has only 2 legs," they exclaimed, "and no ante. How strange she looks." Because the others disapproved, the cockchafer soon grew ashamed and set her down in a meadow. There Thumbelina wandered alone among the tall grasses, which towered above her like a forest. Summer passed, and autumn came. The leaves fell, and the air grew cold. Poor Thumbelina had no home and no warm clothes. As winter approached, she grew weaker and weaker. At last she found the entrance to a field mouse, burrow, and knocked timidly at the door. The field mouse was a kind old creature who lived comfortably underground, with a store of grain and a snug parlor. She allowed Thumbelina to stay, on the condition that she'll help keep house and tell stories during the long winter evenings. "You must not speak ill of my neighbor," said the field mouse one day. "He is the richest mole in the country. He visits often." The mole soon began to visit. He was wealthy and learned, but he disliked the sun and flowers, preferring dark tunnels and underground chambers. Tag polite. He was cold in manner. He proposed that Thumbelina marry him. The field mouse was delighted at the thought. "You would live comfortably," she said. "You must be grateful." But Thumbelina was unhappy. She did not wish to live in darkness forever. One day, while walking through one of the mole's tunnels, she discovered a swallow lying motionless. The bird had been injured and left behind by her companions. The mole declared that birds were useless creatures who chirped foolishly and died of cold. But Thumbelina felt compassion. Secretly, she cared for the swallow throughout the winter, bringing water and brushing away the frost from its wings. When spring came, the swallow revived. "You have saved my life," said the swallow. "Come with me when I fly away." Thumbelina longed to accept, but she could not leave without saying farewell. The field mouse insisted that the wedding to the mole take place before summer's end. On the day set for the marriage, the sun shone brightly. Thumbelina stood at the entrance of the burrow and looked up at the sky. "Farewell, dear sun," she whispered. At that moment, she heard a familiar voice. The swallow had returned. "Come with me now," he urged. "Winter will come again, and you will be buried in darkness." Without hesitation, Thumbelina climbed onto the swallow's back. Away they flew over forests and seas, over mountains crowned with snow, until at last they reached a warm and beautiful land where flowers bloomed year-round. In the heart of a magnificent white blossom stood a tiny prince, no larger than Thumbelina herself, with delicate, transparent wings. When he saw her, he was astonished by her beauty and grace. "Will you be my queen?" he asked gently. Thumbelina smiled, for here at last she had found someone like herself who loved the sun and the open air. The swallow blessed her happiness and flew away, singing joyfully. The prince placed a crown of gold upon her head and gave her a pair of shining wings. From that day forward she was no longer called Thumbelina, but Maya, Queen of the Flowers, and she lived happily beneath the warm sun, among blossoms and butterflies, never again to fear the darkness. If you like this video, please subscribe and like it so we can make more videos like this.